Hey friends, I hope you're all doing well out there. Today is movie day on Juke Jams. We are jumping into Folklore, the Long Pond studio sessions. I'm having such a great time going through my Taylor Swift deep dive. I just reacted to Folklore a couple days ago. I checked out the Exile and Haunted mashup that she did on tour. Goosebumps galore is all I gotta say. Craziness. So good, so haunting, so beautiful hearing the crowd come together. Today I'm jumping into the Long Pond Studio Sessions. I have been so freaking excited for this. I want to see Taylor in her element with her producers, with her friends, whatever. I've been reading your guys' comments and kind of hearing what this is about, and it's just got me so freaking excited. I love seeing creative processes come out, and I love seeing yeah, just the journey of making the music. I love seeing the behind the scenes footage of artists that I like viewing and listening to. So, if it's your first time here on the channel, please make sure to subscribe. Let's follow along. There's not going to be a whole bunch of breaking down on my side this time. It's going to be nice to just take it all in, listen, relax, and just learn more about the talent and who Taylor Swift is as a person. So, follow along. Leave me any comments. If there's anything I missed in the movie, please help me out. If there's anything you want to comment on, please jump in the comments. Let's have a conversation. I love talking to you guys. It's one of my favorite things about the channel. Here we go. It's an hour and 46 minutes, so make sure you get comfortable, get a blanket, some snacks, a drink, whatever it may be. I'm so excited. Let's go. I'm a subtitles guy too, so making sure those are on. They are. Folklore, the Long Pond Studio Sessions. I can make this bigger, right?
Okay, so it
I'll be
is
off to the side.
8:30 in the morning. And why am I awake, you ask? Well, it's kind of a long story. I sort of unexpectedly started writing the new album. And at that point I was just like, oh, I'm just writing songs in quarantine. And then it just became an album really quickly and really, really kind of beautifully, surprisingly. And so you can't go into studios now because they're all closed, and I've never recorded anywhere else. And I know that other people do this all the time, so it's actually not that special, but I'm freaking out over it.
She's so self-aware.
We've built a home studio in my house, and so it's like I'm gonna do vocals today in my house.
That's kind of mind-blowing that she didn't already have her own home studio. But you know what? I mean, the creative process, the way it works is different for everybody. Some people like to have a bunch of people around them. Some people like to be alone, isolated. Others like to have a beautiful scene or something like that to get some inspiration from. But yeah, I'm surprised that she didn't have something at home already.
I'm very excited about it.
That would be
Okay,
like
so
heaven,
over
I would
there
imagine.
is where my recording booth is, and then on the other side of the wall, Laura! Hey! Yeah! Jack? Holy shit. It's like you're right there, but instead you're in New York.
That's wild.
I'm freaking out. We've never done this.
Gotta love
This is
technology. Sometimes. Sometimes I hate it, sometimes I love it. On July 24th, 2020, Taylor Swift surprise released Folklore, her 8th studio album. Look at this scene. Oh, wow. I got goosebumps just looking at this beautiful nature. It's so neat. It's nature. During the COVID-19 lockdown, the musicians recorded separately miles apart while the album was created at Long Pond Studio. Oh, the blue chairs. The fire pit. This looks like just American like campground. Taylor and her collaborators were never able to play the album together until now. Damn, hearing the instrumental.
First day we've been in the same room.
Cheers. Yeah.
First moment.
That's so weird.
Okay, I recognize Jack on the far left. Is that then Aaron in the middle? I've never seen a picture of Aaron.
When lockdown
Dessner.
happened, I just found myself completely listless and purposeless, and that was in the first 3 days of it. And then I remembered when we met a year before, and I'd come to the national show, and afterward you had come up and talked to me, and you were so nice.
Aaron Dessner, founding member of the National and Big Red Machine, folklore co-producer. I've never actually listened to the National. Maybe there's someone I should give a chance to as well. I'm assuming that's probably like a rock band.
And I was like, how do you guys write songs? And you were like, well, we all live in different places, so sometimes I'll just make tracks and send them around and send them to Matt. And I just kind of thought to myself, if there was ever an opportunity to work with someone that I was such a fan of who could work like that would be so
grab
cool.
a glass of wine.
And then lockdown happened, and I texted you, and I was like, hey, would you ever want to work? Are you in that place right now?
And I was like, I don't know if this is a real text. I'm not sure.
Seemed like a bit, like a friend.
Well, I was like, is someone pretending? You know.
It's like Taylor Swift.
One of the reasons why it resonates with me so much is because in the dismantling of all of our systems of life that we've known in the pandemic.
Bleachers is another group, Jack's group, who I've heard maybe 1 or 2 songs from, but I need to do a dive into them as well. I do like the sound from what I've heard. And Jack is someone I've talked about breathlessly, tirelessly on this channel lately. I've been watching some of his creative process. I think he's a genius and musical savant.
You're left with 2 options. Either to cling to it and try to make it work, or to just say, well, I guess I'm just going to chart a new path and kind of get a frontier mentality. And I think it was such like a thrilling use of quarantine to say like, well, everything's a blur, so I'm just going to rewrite it.
Yeah. I didn't even tell my label until a week before we put it out.
What was that call like?
It was amazing. I thought it was going to be stressful, and I thought I was going to have to kind of stand up like with shaking hands, being like, I promise I know what I'm doing. I know that there's not like a big single, and I'm not doing like a big pop thing, and I'm not, but my label was like, whatever you want to make, like, we're down.
Yeah.
You ready to play?
As it should be. Like, that's crazy to me that she even has Taylor Swift, one of the most successful musicians of all time, artists of all time, even has to think that way. But that's just how the labels, corporate shit
Play
works.
This whole thing?
They all have their own ideas.
I think it's really important that we play it. I think it will take that for me to realize that it's a real album. Seems like a big mirage.
It does. Never worked
Yeah,
on
she's
an album
obviously
before.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever will again. Like, I don't know if it's how albums are meant to be made. It just worked right now.
There's something about the complete and total uncertainty about life that causes endless anxiety, but there's another part that causes sort of
A bar.
release of the pressures that you used to feel. Because if we're going to have to recalibrate everything, we should.
I can already tell this is going to be a very emotional movie, I think. Already attacking my heartstrings, Taylor, a couple times here, just from you talking. She's so intelligent.
Start with what we love the most first.
And calculated,
And I think that
it
was
seems.
what we were sort of unconsciously doing with this.
Totally. That is so it, exactly. If everything's going to fall apart, then make a record.
And I was so glad that we did, because it turned out that like everybody needed a good cry as well as us.
Feels good to cry. Track 1, The One, written by Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner. Yes, I love the vibe to this. And her cadence. It's so light. Before she sings, check out this studio. The ambiance. It's beautiful. I'm loving the wood paneling, the lights hanging outside. Just give it that whimsy, as she likes to call it.
I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit. Been saying yes instead of no. I thought I saw you at the bus stop, I didn't though.
Damn, crystal
I
clear.
hit the ground running each night. I hit the Sunday matinee. You know the greatest films of all time were never made.
I wish I could sing. Man.
I guess you never know, never know.
Good, I mean.
And if you wanted me, you really should have showed. And if you never bleed, you're never gonna grow. And it's all
I love that.
I know.
Gotta go through some
We were something,
hardships.
don't you think so? Roaring 20s, tossing pennies in the pool. If my wishes came true, it would have been you. In my defense, I have none for never leaving well enough alone. But it would have been fun if you would have been the one.
It looks so effortless for her to sing. It comes out so rich. Thick. There's a thickness to her voice.
I have this dream you're doing cool shit, having adventures on your own. You meet some woman on the internet and take her home. We never painted by the numbers, baby, but we were
I love that line
making it
too.
count. You know the greatest loves of all time are over now. I guess you never know, never know. And it's another day waking up alone. We were something, don't you think so? Roaring 20s, tossing pennies in the pool. And if my wishes came true, it would have been you. In my defense, I have none for never leaving well enough alone. But it would have been
Man.
if you would have been the one.
So reminiscent.
Persist and resist the temptation to ask you if one thing had been different. Would everything be different today? We were something, don't you think so? Rose flowing with your chosen family.
Oh, man.
And it would have been sweet if it could have been me. In my defense, I have none. We digging up the grave another time. But it would have been fun if you would have been the one.
It's songs like this that get my eyes welling up, that I can feel my heart tightening up. It's that reminiscence of it, the light, slow, like twinkly tone to it, I guess. It's something light that always like attacks me. It always makes me start feeling really emotional, and just the way she's singing it, it's just, it makes you think. How do you not think about someone that you once were so deeply in love with and it didn't work out, and maybe if they could have been the one? Like listening to this song.
Ooh.
So beautiful.
It was funny because I feel like you captured the spirit of the whole record with that song, with the one in the sense of just the way it opens. I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit, and saying yes instead of no. And I was like, is she talking about writing songs with me and everything else at the same time, or something?
I think it has a new. I think it has a double meaning. The opening the album with the words "I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit," and saying yes instead of no. It applies to the situation that the song is written about, where you're updating a former lover on what your life is like now and trying to be positive about it. But it was also where I am creatively, where it's like, I'm just saying yes, I'm just putting out an album in the worst time you could put one out. I'm just making stuff with someone who I've always wanted to make stuff with as long as I've been a fan of the National, and I'm just gonna say yes to stuff.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
Vintage
Ooh,
tea,
Cardigan.
brand new phone.
Track one of the love triangle.
Cobblestones. When you are young, they assume you know nothing. Sequin smile, black lipstick, sensual politics. When you are young, they assume you know nothing. But I knew you dancing in your Levi's,
Wow.
drunk under a street light.
I don't even want to say that she's singing better here because comparison is the thief of joy, but my goodness, her live vocals sound, let me just say, just like the studio. If I'm trying to compliment her without disrespecting the studio too, but man, I'm blown away by how perfect she sounds. Perfect. Perfect.
And when I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed,
I'm sure it's a fantastic
you
microphone
put
to
me
help.
on and said I was your favorite.
But wow.
A friend to all is a friend to none. Chase two girls, lose the one. When you are young, they assume you know nothing. But I knew you, playing hide and seek and giving me weekends. I knew you, your heartbeat on the high line once in 20 lifetimes. And when I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite.
Where do these lyrics come from? How does she think of this?
To kiss
Aaron in his element.
cars and downtown bars was all we needed. You drew stars around my scars, but now I'm bleeding. 'Cause I knew you, stepping on the last train, marked me like a bloodstain. I knew you, tried to change the ending, Peter losing Wendy. I knew you,
So witty.
running like water. 'Cause when you are young, they assume you know nothing. But I knew you'd linger like a tattoo kiss. Knew you'd haunt all of my what ifs. The smell of smoke would hang around this long. 'Cause I knew everything when I was young. I knew I'd curse you for the longest time, chasing shadows in the grocery line. I knew you'd miss me once the thrill expired, and you'd be standing in my front porch light. And I knew you'd come back to me. You'd come back to me.
Song gets better and better every time I
You'd
hear
come
it.
back to me. You'd come back.
Damn.
And when I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite.
Beautiful.
How are you smiling after that? I'm over here
God,
crying.
This is such a blast. This is a real damn blast. You know
Damn.
that? You know what this
That was
is?
beautiful.
A
Yeah.
real blast.
Ooh, the
Send me the
Great
track.
American Dynasty. I freaking love the way this turned around, the way the story came back around, how she bought the house now. Hell yeah,
The
let's
last
go,
Great American
ladies.
Dynasty. I had been wanting to write a song about Rebecca Harkness since 2013, probably. And I'd never figured out the right way to do it because there was never a track that felt like it could kind of hold an entire story.
Does her name, Rebecca Harkness, doesn't that just sound like a made-up character, like a storybook character? Something so iconic about that. Obviously, she's real.
Of somebody's life and whatever,
Rebecca
and move between
Harkness.
generations or whatever. Then when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, I think this is my opening. I think this is my moment. I think I can write the Rebecca Harkness story.
That song is such a folklore moment to me because it's not about you, but it is all about you.
Well,
And
it's
it's
that
like-
country music
Very well said,
kind of
Jack.
narrative device where
Yes.
in country music it's like, this guy did this, then this woman did this,
Yeah.
then they met and their kid was me.
Totally,
Like,
yeah. And I was that man
yeah,
that
I
I've
was
been
that
talking about.
kid. Like,
But
which is the best. It's
I
like
challenge
you
you with
listen to
this.
country songs and you're just
Totally.
like shivers everywhere, my whole body.
Like, even though it's not till the very end when you spin
true.
it around, even though the story is about someone else, I think it's the
Don't
most
take the
revealing
girl,
thing.
Tim
I think
McGraw.
It's so deeply personal. And it really hits you in the gut when you hear that at the end.
Thanks,
It's real good.
man.
I'm sorry, I was talking over Jack.
So deeply personal.
Like, did this, then this woman did this,
Yeah.
then they met, and their kid was me.
Totally,
Like,
yeah. And I was that man
yeah,
that
I
I've been
was that
talking about.
kid. Like,
But
which is the best. It's
I
like
challenge
you
you with
listen to
this.
country songs and you're just
Totally.
like shivers everywhere, my whole body.
Like, even though it's not till the very end when you spin it around, even though the story is about someone else, I think it's the most revealing thing. I think it's so deeply personal. It
Yes.
really hits you in the gut when you hear that at the end.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, I
good.
totally
Yeah.
agree. It was honestly hard to take in at first. I was like,
About
okay.
someone else.
Whoa, what just happened? Sorry, I don't know what just happened there. But
It
yeah,
really hits you in the gut
Um,
when you hear
when I heard that, I didn't know for sure if it was her writing it back around to being about Rebecca or being about Taylor. And now, like reading your guys' comments, everyone's messages, and finding out that it was for sure Taylor that bought the house, and now she lives in it, throws 4th of July parties at it. So freaking
that
cool.
at the end.
Thanks,
It's real good.
man.
Becca rode up on the afternoon train. It was sunny. Her salt box house on the coast took her mind off St. Louis. Bill was the heir to the Standard Oil name and money. And the town said, how did a middle class divorcee do it? The wedding was charming, if a little gauche. There's only so far new money goes. They picked out a home and called it Holiday House. Their parties were tasteful, if a little loud. The doctor had told him to settle down. It must have been her fault his heart gave out. And they said, there goes
So
the last
good.
great American dynasty. Who knows if she never showed up, what could have been? There goes the maddest woman this town has ever seen. She had a marvelous time ruining everything.
Now look, so one of my commenters made a perfect comparison of this, I believe, in my opinion. Like Rebecca Harkness and Taylor Swift. A lot of these crazy NFL fans the past couple years since she started dating Travis Kelce and is going to shows supporting him, and only on the TV for maybe 15 to 30 seconds in a total of a 4-hour broadcast. And you have all of these crazy people yelling at their screens, yelling on Twitter, cursing Taylor Swift's name, talking about she's ruining this, she's ruining that. Like, just by being there, being on the screen for maybe 10 seconds total within a 4-hour broadcast. I totally agree with that person's comment. Like, it's obviously she didn't ruin it, right? She didn't ruin, just like Rebecca obviously didn't ruin anything, nothing. So I thought that was a fantastic comparison in the comments. Very good job.
Rebecca gave up on the Rhode Island set.
Taylor gets so much unwarranted hate. It's disgusting.
Flew in all her bitch pack friends.
Same with
from the
Gaga,
city.
Beyonce,
Filled the pool with
all the big
champagne.
names.
Swam with the big names and blew through the money on the boys and the ballet. Losing on card game bets with Dolly. And they said, there goes the last great American dynasty. Who knows if she never showed up, what could have been? There goes the most shameless woman this town has ever seen. She had a marvelous time ruining everything.
I've never seen it done before, like the recording process or whatever. I'm pretty sure Jack is doing a technique called brushes on the drums. Travis Barker is someone that I've known to use this. He's used it in the song "I Miss You" by Blink-182. I think that's what he's doing
They
here.
say she was seen on occasion, pacing the rocks, staring out at the
It's not easy
midnight
at all.
And in a feud with a neighbor, she stole his dog and dyed a key lime green. 50 uses a long time, holiday house sat quietly on that beach, free of women with madness, the men in bad habits, and then it was bought by me.
Oh man, that hits so much better now.
Who knows if I never showed up, what could have been?
It's so much better.
There goes the loudest woman this town has ever seen.
Oh, it's so good.
Had a marvelous time, ruining everything.
Shout out to her.
I had a marvelous day.
This is the part where I was confused. I thought she was singing from Rebecca's point of view the whole time there, and then it switched to the I, so I thought that was her, singing as Rebecca, but it's her singing as Taylor. Oh,
Ruining everything, a marvelous day.
so good.
Ruining everything, a marvelous day.
I bet you did.
Ruining everything, marvelous time.
The newest thing I've seen that men are complaining about is women being at their gyms. Now there's some guy going viral on Twitter talking about, oh, they have to make gyms for only men. It's like, Jesus. Always something with them, I swear.
I only wish our other two co-writers were here, Justin
Who?
Vernon and William Bowery.
Justin is one of the greatest ever. William, I never got to meet.
There's been a lot of discussion about William Bowery and his identity because it's not a real person.
Oh,
It's not?
wow. Okay. I was about to say, because people were telling me that she was going to reveal this identity here. I was wondering who William Bowery was.
Jack,
I'm doing a bit.
the bit
Jack
that
knows.
would have gone on forever.
What?
Who?
When?
So William Bowery is Joe, as we know,
Whoa.
and Joe.
Whoa. What the hell? Joe Alwyn, her ex-boyfriend, was using a pseudonym for his writing. Okay. Wow. Okay, you were not kidding. I'm freaking shocked.
Joe plays piano beautifully, and
I thought it was gonna be like her
he's
dad or
always just
something.
playing and making things up and kind of creating things. And Exile was crazy because Joe had written that entire piano part, that dun 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 dun, and it was singing the Bon Iver part, that I can see you standing, honey, with his arms around your
Jesus.
body, laughing, but the joke's not funny at all. And
Lyrics too?
yeah, he was just singing it
Jesus.
the way that the whole first verse is.
I've never heard anything by Joe either. I did just watch The Brutalist, and I wanted to punch his character in the face the whole time. Obviously, he's acting. I know nothing about him. No, they're not together. I'm not going to shit on the guy without knowing him at all. I will listen to the history, take it all in, and see what the heck the problem was. Sounds like he really has... Sounds like the biggest problem, from what I've heard, at least in the lore, was that he couldn't handle how famous Taylor was. He can't handle how, big of a star she is and wants privacy and stuff like that. Where Travis Kelce, on the other hand, is very much so used to it and seems to be very supportive in it.
Wow.
And so I was entranced and asked if we could keep writing that one. And it was pretty obvious that it should be a duet because he's got such a low voice and it sounded really good sung down there and
Yeah.
in that register. And then we're really, really, really big Bon Iver fans, and
So cool.
we know that Aaron knows him. But I was too afraid to suggest it. But I just, when I sent it to Aaron, I was like, this is hopefully a duet. I don't know who would it be?
Again, it is so funny that she can't just come out straight up and say it. And that's, traumas and other things and people, talking back to you in a certain way to then thinking that you can't communicate. Or people, maybe she thinks that, oh, they think I'm just using them. Like maybe she didn't have that relationship with Aaron quite yet to be like, oh, Let me can you do me a favor and ask Bon Iver for a feature for me too, where it might come off as like you're using them or something. So it's just
With who do
a
you
lot of
think would be good
complications.
with this? And Aaron was like, I think Justin would love this.
And you're like,
I was
really?
like,
Okay, that could be interesting.
I
He
couldn't
was-
say it. I couldn't say
Really?
it.
Is
with
that really
my-
what happened?
No, I couldn't say it with words because if I would have said it and he would have gone to Justin and Justin would have said no, it would have hurt too much.
Interesting.
And when we talked about it, I was like,
Yeah,
I think
rejection
he's
hurts
gonna
some.
Be really inspired by this, and then we sent it to him, and he was. And then the process of working on it, and what he sent back, and he wrote like we didn't. You didn't ask him to write anything, but he wrote.
Yeah.
He wrote this like.
He wrote this amazing bridge. He wrote, so step
Step
right out,
right out.
there is no amount, and like that whole bit. I kept thinking this isn't really going to happen. Like, Justin is going to change his mind about this because this isn't a part of my reality. There's no way that this is going to happen. He's gonna.
You're
he's gonna
Taylor
record
Swift.
The vocals and then decide he doesn't want to be on the record, and then
Someone
it just
needs to
never,
tell her.
that just never happened. Like he just is on the album and he's just the coolest, and that's what's happening.
And that's what's happening. Due to the pandemic, Justin Vernon is performing from JUKE, Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Not Sheboygan?
I can see you standing, honey, with his arms around your body.
Okay, so they were confusing me a little bit when they were talking about Justin and Bon Iver. I figured that they're the same people, but okay, now I know for sure that that is who it is. I've only heard a few things by him. Amazing voice. That's another artist I'll have to get into.
Laughing, but the joke's not funny at all. And it took you 5 whole minutes.
Does he keep his identity hidden?
Up and leave me with it.
Or is he like singing through the
Holding
bandana?
all this love out here in the hall. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore.
Oh wait, it's the pandemic. That's why he's wearing the bandana. Slow.
In exile, seeing you out. I think I've seen this film before.
Haunting vocal is where I come from with that. His volume control, pitch, whatever.
I can see you stare around, honey, like he's just your understudy, like you'd get your knuckles bloody for me. Second, third, and 100th chances, balancing on breaking bridges. Those eyes add insult to injury. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. I'm not your problem anymore. So who am I offending now?
Jeez.
My crown. Now I'm in exile, seeing you out.
There's those goosebumps again.
This film before, so I'm leaving out the side door.
So step right out. There is no amount of crying I can do for
All this time.
you. Always walked a very thin line.
Man, their voices complement each other perfectly. I don't even know. I can't even think of who would even be better on this track. You know, isn't it funny how songs can just work out like that? Movies can work out like that. Like, she picked the perfect person for this, I feel.
You didn't even hear me out. You never gave no warning sign. All this time, I never learned to read your mind. Couldn't turn things around. You never gave no warning sign. So many signs. So many signs.
Didn't even see the signs. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like
Gorgeous.
I think I've seen this film before, so I'm leaving out the side door.
So step right out. There is no amount of crying I can do for
This time,
you. We always walk the very thin line.
The conversation they're having.
Hear me out.
didn't even hear
You
me
never
out.
gave no warning
I
sign.
gave so many
More like an argument.
signs.
I never learned to read your
Never
mind.
learned to read my
I couldn't
mind.
turn things
Never
around.
turn things
You never
around.
gave no warning
I gave
sign.
so many signs, so many signs, so many signs.
Oh. Oh, with a perfect transition. They didn't even want to talk about it because it is. Whew, that's deep, man. I'm telling you, I'm on the struggle bus in this movie. The vocals are just so
Where do we
gorgeous.
start? I mean, to me, the whole thing starts with My Tears Ricochet.
Yeah, chronologically, that's the first thing. I wrote that one alone, and it's definitely, I think, one of the saddest songs on the album.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best songs you've written,
Oh, thanks.
which is, I think, why you crowned it as a track 5.
Yeah, picking a track 5 is sort of a pressurized decision, but
I love that she does that too. That just adds to the lore of her, the Tay lore. Like that she picks something, that's something fun. Like, okay, we're moving on to track 5. We know this is gonna be very special, very important to her. I just think that is such an awesome touch.
I knew from day one this was probably going to be it. It's kind of a song about karma.
Yeah.
It's a song about
For sure.
greed. It's a song about how somebody could be your
Evil?
best friend and your companion and your most trusted person in your life, and then they could go and become your worst enemy who knows how to hurt you because they were once your most trusted person.
Man, just talking about it right there, that just brings that trauma. It's like revisiting that trauma every single time of being backstabbed. And I know we've all experienced it. I know you've all experienced it from a friend, from someone you love that you thought you could trust 100%, that you've never done anything wrong to them, that you've done nothing but love them and support them and treat them right. And then they still, for whatever reason, smack you back in the face.
The worst betrayal.
More than
Yeah.
likely,
It
you've
does
dealt
remind
with
me
it.
of people going through a divorce and having that person that they swore to be with forever
Sucks.
then become the person that they spend most of their time talking shit about.
Yeah, and it is that ultimate betrayal when someone, messed you up from the inside.
Writing this song, it kind of occurred to me that in all of the superhero stories,
So
the
relatable.
hero's greatest nemesis is the villain that used to be his best friend.
Yeah.
That sort
That's a
of
good
thing.
point, yeah.
When you think about that, you think about how there's this beautiful moment in the beginning of a friendship where these people have no idea that one day they'll hate each other and try to really take
Jack is just sitting there looking back at her like, when's my time? I'm kidding.
each other out. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really sad and terrible.
But that's the bird's eye view quality of the song that I think is so unique because they're both great, but sometimes you write like very in the moment.
Yeah.
And you're like, this happened and this is how I feel. And I love that. But this song, which is interesting that it's the first one that happened because I think it became a huge theme on the album, is it's very pulled back. It's very pulled back and commenting on the whole experience of it.
The way Jack speaks is very therapeutic.
it's very
itself.
powerful to me.
He just gets it. I feel like he's a very much so a heavy thinker.
We gather here, we line up, weeping in a sunlit room. And if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. Even on my worst day, did I deserve, babe, all the hell you gave me? 'Cause I loved you, I swear I loved you, till my dying day.
Screw you, Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun. Especially Scooter Braun. I know more about him than the other.
Never knowing what they'll be.
Greedy.
Some to throw, some to make a diamond ring. You know I didn't want to have to haunt you, but what a ghostly scene. You wear the same jewels that I gave you as you bury me.
That right there is what gave it away for me for this being about her masters, about it being about her record label and the fight that she's had against Scott and Scooter. Now, I didn't know about Scott. I thought Scooter was the one that was like owning and doing all this evil shit to her. But yeah, the her talking about the jewels, so it made me think of like platinum record, ruby, diamond, sapphire, that kind of stuff. And I know she has plenty of that. So, and also jewels, you know, keeping stuff safe to, or something that's sacred to us, something that's like a prized possession, I would say. Like those are her jewels. Those are the crown jewels. Those are the family jewels. It's her music. Her art really is her family's crown jewels.
I didn't have it in myself to go with grace.
You don't always have to.
'Cause when I'd fight, you used to tell me I was brave. And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Cursing my name, wishing I stayed. Look at how my tears ricochet. And I can go anywhere I want, just not home. And you can aim for my heart, go for blood, but you would still miss me in your bones. And I still talk to you when I'm screaming at the sky. And when you can't sleep at night, you hear my stolen lullaby.
That was my other hint right there. And wow. What a dickhead, man.
I didn't have it in myself to go with grace.
Such an ugly crier.
Battleships will
Sorry.
sink beneath the waves. You had to kill me, but it killed you just the same. You're cursing my name, wishing I stayed. You turned into your worst fears, and you're tossing out blame, drunk on this pain, crossing out the good years. And you're cursing my name, wishing I stayed. Look at how my tears ricochet.
Man.
Yeah, look at how my tears ricochet. Look at all of my tears.
I just want to touch on like how strong of a person she is. Like, just imagine having a record label coming after you. You're a singular person out here just making art, trying to make an escape for people. You're trying to entertain people, and yet you have these greedy, nasty, evil leeches coming on you, coming after you, taking ownership of things that you created, talking shit behind your back constantly. And yet she still prevails. She like rolls her sleeves up, puts her fists up in the air, and writes tracks like this, taking her power back, taking her peace back. I love to see it, and I wish more artists would do it. If more artists would follow Taylor's lead and do what she's doing, just like how social media is helping with other things, with how transparent things are now, like execs and people like Diddy and whoever, they can't get away with what they got away with before now, because things are talked about, things are spread around faster now because we have better devices, we have better platforms, we have better communication devices, I should say, in this day and age, to where we can talk back against these record labels, and Taylor can still be extremely successful without them, especially Taylor. I mean, she built her platform. She built that freaking record label up from the ground up with that man. And this is the way he repays her. It's just crazy to me. But she is so strong.
turning into your tears.
Who knows, like, how anybody else would have responded. I might have gotten a little too emotional with it and, like, mother effed him all over, or exposed him in some way just because, like, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not as strong as her. Maybe I'm not giving myself the benefit of the doubt there, but she just seems so damn strong for me there, where she could have done it so many different ways, like expose him for some bad things he's done, like with pictures and whatever it could probably be. I'm sure she has tons and tons of dirt on him, but to just eviscerate them in this song is just even better to me, because it's her using her talent that they're talking shit about and smacking them back in the face with it. But I can't imagine. I know Ariana's going through it right now with her label. Like they don't restock her vinyls and stuff. They don't restock her merchandise. They're constantly like trying to put her down and talk shit against her too. So I know she's experiencing something similar as well. So I would like to recognize her strength too, but I just want to see more talking back like she's doing here. So admirable. Got me over here tearing up every 2 seconds. Where is this, by the way? I don't think they ever said. Let me do a Google. So, the Long Pond Studio is located in the Hudson Valley of New York, about a mile from the Hudson River. They might have actually said that. I might be tripping.
There are a lot of songs that reference each other or lyrical parallels, and one of the ones that I like is the entire song, This Is Me Trying, then being referenced again in Mirror Ball, which is, I've never been a natural, all I do is try.
Yeah, I remember that being an interesting one for you to actually put down. I remember you said it and you did it and then you were like, should I say that?
I was like, is that too true? Is that? And I think with Mirror Ball, sometimes when I'm writing to an instrumental track, I'll push play and I'll immediately see a scene set. And this was one of those cases where I just saw, lonely disco ball, twinkly lights, neon signs, people drinking beer by the bar, a couple of stragglers on the dance floor, just sort of a sad, moonlit, lonely experience in the middle of a town that you've never been. And I just was thinking, okay, so we have mirror balls in the middle of a dance floor because
she got my sniffles going now.
They are broken a million times, and that's what makes them so shiny. We have people like that in society too. They hang there, and every time they break, it entertains us.
Yeah.
And when you shine a light on them, it's this glittering, fantastic thing. But then, a lot of the time, when the spotlight isn't on them, they're just still there, up on a pedestal, but nobody's watching them.
Well, it's a myth we love, and then we create it for people.
Yeah, it's the whole
do the broken thing, make it fun. Now make it sad.
Yeah,
now make it cool. Now make it sad.
Yeah, but when the lights off, be okay.
Yeah.
It was a metaphor for celebrity, but it's also a metaphor for so many people who have to feel like everybody feels like they have to be on for certain people. You have to be different versions of yourself for different people, different versions at work, different versions around friends, different versions of yourself around different friends.
Oops.
Different version of yourself around family, around, everybody has to be duplicitous.
I've talked about this recently, actually.
Or feels that they have to, in some ways, be duplicitous.
Talked about this recently with friends of the channel when I was doing a Lady Gaga review as well. I go through it myself, but I've also put myself in that situation where, I'm a very positive person. I'm very optimistic. I try to make light of things. I try to make the world better. I try to put just positivity back into the world. It's how I wake up every day. I just want to love and put love into the world. But what that can do is it can make you have like a persona of only being like this lighthearted, wacky, party kind of persona, if that makes sense. There's this meme that I love. It's called the Wacky Dog meme. So I brought it up for them too. And it says, "Hey, Wacky Dog, say something funny." And the Wacky Dog says back, "Actually, I have something serious on my mind today." And that, I think, is a lot of how she's describing there, what they feel. If you've never seen the meme, you can kind of see here, maybe not. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's backwards, obviously. The camera's in reverse, but yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with this. I know my oldest brother has to deal with stuff like that. He grew up as like the party guy. All of his friends think of him as like this party person. He also was in like National Honor Society though, and like very smart. He was an athlete as well and a thespian, but because he always threw the parties, because he was always getting lit and having a great time, all they think of, not all, but a lot of them think of him as like this party person. And every single time he comes home or he's around his friends, they expect him to be party boy, party boy, party boy. And that's not him. And he's talked about it with me, and I relate to that too, because I go through as well, as I'm sure y'all do too. Like, it sucks when people try to put you in a box, because we all experience so many different emotions. There is a spectrum of emotions, friends, that we all go through. It could be like a happy sad that you could be feeling. It could be a mad happy. There's so much I'm trying to articulate that we go through. It's not fair to try to put people in boxes like that, and I love that she's talking about it.
And that's part of the human experience, but it's also exhausting. And
And she
you
said
kind
it
of
right there, the
learn
human
that
experience.
every one of us has the ability to become a shapeshifter.
Totally.
But what does that do to us? And it also is the first time, and one of the only times that the time that we're living through was actually lyrically addressed. I think that, you know, the pandemic and lockdown and all that runs through this album like a thread, because it's an album that allows you to feel your feelings, and it's a product of isolation.
I just realized I meant to bring up the whole thing about golden retriever energy. I know that I give off golden retriever energy, and that's fine, but that's basically what my point was
all
about the
this,
wacky dog thing.
You know, rumination on what we are as humans, blah, blah, blah. But this is the first time in the bridge saying they called off the circus, burned the disco down when they sent home the horses and the rodeo clowns. I wrote this song right after I found out all my shows were canceled. And it's like, I'm still on that tightrope. I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. So it's like, I realized here I am writing all this music, still trying. And I know I have an excuse to sit back and not do something, but I'm not. And I can't, and I don't know why that is.
But that's what makes it, to me, a great piece of pandemic time work, is that it's not about the pandemic, it's about the experience of what happens to an artist when you're living through a pandemic.
Yeah, you start there, you start
to dream.
Yep.
Whoa. I never realized how that sounds like Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. That beginning guitar lick there sounds similar.
You start there, you start
to dream.
Very light.
Yep.
It's so close. I love seeing her play her instruments too. Testament to the fantastic artist she is. This is one of my favorite songs off the album. I saved it. I've been listening to it so much.
I'll show you every version of yourself tonight. I'll get you out on the floor, shimmering beautiful, and then I'll break it in a million pieces. Hush, when no one is around, my dear. You'll find me on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love, shining just for you. Hush, I know they said the
Voice of an
end is
angel.
near, but I'm still on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love, shining just for you.
Jack.
Want you to know I'm a mirror ball. I can change everything about me to fit in you. I'm not like the regulars, the masquerade revelers, drunk as they watch my shattered edges glisten. Hush, when no one is around, my dear. You'll find me on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love, shining just for you. Hush, I know they said the end is near, but I'm still on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love, shining just for you. And they called off the circus, burned the disco down, when they sent home the horses and the rodeo clowns. I'm still on that tightrope, I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. And I'm still a believer, but I don't know why. I've never been a natural, all I do is try, try, try. I'm still on that trapeze, I'm still trying everything to keep you looking at me. Because I'm a mirror ball, I'm a mirror ball. I'll show you every version of yourself tonight.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's crazy how these songs sound
7.
like exactly like the studio. Her voice is angelic. And this is another song that I saved. And I'm afraid it's definitely going to break me down
song,
now.
I was looking back on it. I've always wondered when I see a kid throwing a massive tantrum in a grocery store, like part of me is like, man, I feel you. Like, when did I stop doing that when I was upset? Like, when did I stop being so outraged that I would throw myself on the floor and throw the cereal at my mom?
Well, it also doesn't stop, but where does it go?
Oh my gosh, I've never done that. Jeez, Taylor.
Yeah.
I have thrown temper tantrums as a kid myself. I can remember thinking of like time being at Toys R Us and there's like an Etch-a-Sketch being in the aisle as you're checking out. I remember like crying, wanting that so bad, but not getting it. She's right though. When does that stop? When do we hit that maturity of where like the world doesn't feel so heavy on us, where not every moment is so drastic, so dramatic? Because that's so true as being like kids. And I'm going through it now with my niece. Like any small inconvenience, she immediately starts getting a little emotional, a little sad, and she starts doing the little crocodile tears and whatnot. And it looks real. It seems real. You could see the whole heaviness of the world going over her when I say you can't put your your Play-Doh in the toilet or something super random like that.
That feeling, like we're still having that feeling, but
Yeah, so the
What is it
idea is,
now?
you know, please picture me before I learned civility. Like I used to scream anytime I wanted.
That's that teenage
Obviously,
petulance
you
she's
know, we
talked about
can't be throwing
before.
tantrums all the time.
Not
and we
teenage,
learn
but-
that that's not the right thing to do. But there's something lost there too.
Yeah, sure.
Please picture me.
Let me say, this song has been on my mind the most ever since Folklore. The tone of it, everything about it is perfection to me.
In the
I can see
trees, I hid my
what she's drawing here too.
7 feet in the swing over the creek. I was too scared to jump in, but I was high in the sky with Pennsylvania under me. Are there still beautiful things? Sweet tea in the summer. Cross your heart, won't tell no other. And though I can't recall your face, I still got love for you. Your braids make a pattern, love you.
I can't help but picture Forrest and Jenny still. I swear, all these songs, they just make you think and feel.
And I've been meaning to tell you, I think your house is haunted. Your dad is always mad, and that must be why. I think you should come live with me, and we can be pirates. Then you won't have to cry or hide in the closet. And just like a folk song, our love will be passed on. Please picture me in the weeds before I learn civility. I used to scream ferociously anytime I wanted.
There's no other artists yet that I've reacted to or that I've listened to that I can think of that just makes me sit here and think about like old times, old friends that I haven't seen in a long time, or loved ones, or like hardships and stuff like that. Like it's all so reminiscent. It's all so like visual and visceral. I think I'm using the word right too. Like I can see everything she's saying about. It's heavy.
Sweet tea in the summer, cross your heart, won't tell no other. And though I can't recall
There's so much relatable shit in her lyrics.
Pack your dolls in a sweater. We'll move to India forever. Pass down like folk songs. The love lasts so long.
It's just heavy thinking about being a kid too, and how we'll never get that time back, and how it really is the most obviously innocent time of our lives. It's hard.
It's a weird experience to work with you, and now Aaron can understand it. No,
Cheers to that.
It's like, here's the song. Oh wait, here's the bridge. Wait, here's a better bridge. Okay, now the perfect bridge. And then here's the thing after the bridge. This thing's gonna come in.
Oh yeah, remember when I pulled up
Yeah, so, like,
in the
just
car?
a
I
series
wrote
of-
that in the vocal booth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's series
Yeah,
of.
get some plans just in case you call.
And so like, but hearing the patchwork of like that whole thing coming together, I was just like, I just love what you did on that song. It takes
Thanks.
me away.
I love what you did on that song. And I've been kind of in my head like calling the girl from August either Augusta
Oh,
or
nice.
Augustine. I've just been like naming her that in my head.
Oh, that changes things for me because she's written nameless to me, but now it's forever changed.
What happened?
That's how it felt like for me too. When I was even going back through, when I think it was Betty that I figured out. Well, I didn't figure it out, but I was catching on because there was James mentioned and whatever. I remember thinking, like, okay, I've heard James, I've heard Betty, but who's the other one? August. See, it seemed like August was the time and not the name. And then I've heard you all say Augustine and whatnot. Maybe she says
What
Augustine in the
happened
song.
in my head was, okay, so like Cardigan is Betty's perspective from
My snipples are
like
killing me.
20 to 30 years later, looking back on her, this love that was this tumultuous thing. In my head, I think Betty and James ended up together, right?
Interesting.
So in my head, she ends up with him, but he really put her through it. But like August was obviously about the girl that James had tumultuous. What happened in my head was, okay, so like Cardigan is Betty's perspective from like 20 to 30 years later, looking back on her, this love that was this tumultuous thing. In my head, I think Betty and James ended up together, right?
Interesting.
So in my head, she ends up with him, but he really put her through it. But like August was obviously about the girl that James had this summer with, right? So she seems like she's a bad girl, but really she's not a bad girl. She's like really a sensitive person who like really fell for him, and she was trying to seem cool and seem like she didn't care because that's what girls have to do. And she was trying to let him think that she didn't care, but she really did, and she thought they had something very real. And then he goes back to Betty. So the idea that there's some bad villain girl in any type of situation who like takes your man is actually a total myth, because that's not usually the case at all. Like, everybody has feelings and wants to be seen and loved, and just like Augustine, that's all she wanted.
That's
was
what I
love.
love about August is like it's not a dream, even though it sort of sounds like it. Like it's like it feels, the situation feels very close to me, like getting swept up like that.
That whole song started with the fact that I had written down in my phone, "Meet me behind the mall," years ago, wanting to write it into a song.
Salt air and the rust on your door. I never needed anything more. Whispers of, are you sure? Never have I ever before. But I can see us lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time, 'cause it was never mine. And I can see us twisted in bed sheets. August sipped away like a bottle of wine, 'cause you were never mine. You're back beneath the sun, wishing I could write my name on it. Will you call when you're back at school? I remember thinking I had you, but I can see it's lost in the memory. August slipped away to a moment in time, 'cause it was never mine. And I can see it's twisted in bed sheets. August sipped away like a bottle of wine, 'cause you were never mine. Back when we were still changing for the better, wanting was enough. For me it was enough to live for the hope of it all. Cancel plans just in case you call and say meet me behind the mall. So much for summer love and saying us, 'cause you weren't mine to lose. You were mine to lose. Oh. 'Cause I can see it's lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time. Oh. 'Cause I can see it's lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time, 'cause it was never mine. And I can see it's twisted in bed sheets. August sipped away like a bottle of wine. You were never mine. You were never mine. Never mine. Do you remember? Remember when I pulled up and said get in the car, and then cancel my plans just in case you call. Back when I was living for the hope of it all, for the hope of it all. Meet me behind the mall. And then I canceled my plans to
I'd been thinking about addiction, and I'd been thinking about people who, if they're either suffering through mental illness or they're suffering through addiction or they have an everyday struggle, no one pats them on the back every day, but every day they are actively fighting something. But there are so many days that nobody gives them credit for that.
Yeah.
And so how often must somebody who's in that sort of internal struggle must want to say to everyone in the room, you have no idea how close I am to going back to a dark place, or you have no idea.
You have no idea how hard it is to get to the point where you guys think is still shitty.
Yes.
Like, I think about that a lot, like the idea of doing your best or trying is one that only a person knows, and you know when you're doing it. And it's so hard, which is what I get from that song, when you're doing your damn best and it's not good enough.
Yep.
And it rarely is.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, and then it's a very isolating feeling, which I think is funny because it actually is the thing that binds all of us, is we're all like doing our best and feeling like it's not even close to good enough.
Yeah, I had this idea that the first verse would be about someone who is in a sort of a life crisis and has just been trying and failing in their relationship, has been, you know, messing things up with people they love, has been letting everyone down, and kind of has driven to this overlook, this cliff, and is just in the car going, I could do whatever I want in this moment and it could affect everything forever. But this person backs up and drives home, and
Yeah, I love that. The idea that not driving off the cliff is an act of trying,
yeah,
which is almost the ultimate act of trying.
yeah. And then the second verse is about, you know, someone who felt like they had a lot of potential in their life. I think there are a lot of mechanisms for us in our school days, in high school or college, to excel and to be patted on the back for something. And then I think a lot of people get out of school and there are less abilities for them to get gold stars.
Yeah.
And then you have to make all these decisions and you have to pave your own way, and there's no set class course you can take, and and I think a lot of people feel really swept up in that. And so I was thinking about this person who is really lost in life and then starts drinking, and every second is trying not to.
Yeah.
I've been having a hard time adjusting. I had the shiniest wheels, now they're rusting. I didn't know if you'd care if I came back. I have a lot of regrets about that. Pulled the car off the road to the lookout. Could have followed my fears all the way down. And baby, I don't quite know what to say, but I'm here in your doorway. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. They told me all of my cages were mental, so I got wasted like all my potential. And my words shoot to kill when I'm mad. I have a lot of regrets about that. I was so ahead of the curve became a sphere. Fell behind all my classmates and I ended up here, pouring out my heart to a stranger. But I didn't pour the whiskey, I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. At least I'm trying. And it's hard to be at a party when I feel like an open wound. It's hard to be anywhere these days when all I want is you. You're a flashback and a film reel on the one screen in my town. And I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. At least I'm trying.
I didn't realize my mic was muted that whole time, so I don't know what I missed. Over here crying.
This was the first album that I've ever.
I know there's a lot that I said there too, and my mic was muted. I'm so sorry because these sniffles are just getting me. I'm gonna have to go back and see exactly what happened and what I maybe talked about and missed there. But damn, and those are some deep songs too. So
Let
at
go
least you
of
guys
that
got to
need
watch
to
the
be
show.
100% autobiographical, because I think I felt like I needed to do that, and I felt like fans needed to hear like a stripped from the headlines account of my life, and it actually ended up being a bit confining because
I remember saying that a lot of people are going through a lot of things and that we don't know what they're going through, and to just have empathy for them. That's the Cliff Notes. I know it was a little more emotional when I was experiencing it during the time, but I somehow forgot to unmute the mic.
there's so much more to writing songs than just what you're feeling in your singular storyline. And this was the first time that I ever was like, I think it was spurred on by the fact that I was watching movies every day. I was reading books every day. I was thinking about other people every day. I was kind of outside of my own personal stuff. And so I ended up just like, I think that's been my favorite thing about this album, is that it's allowed to exist on its own merit without it just being, oh, people are listening to this because it tells them something that they could read in a tabloid.
Interesting.
It to me feels like a completely different experience.
Make sure nobody sees you leave. Hood over your head, keep your eyes down. Tell your friends you're out for a run. You'll be flushed when you return. Take the road less traveled by. Tell yourself you can always stop. What started in beautiful rooms ends with meetings in parking lots. And that's the thing about illicit affairs and clandestine meetings and longing stares. It's born from just one single glance, but it dies and it dies and it dies a million little times. Leave the perfume on the shelf that you picked out just for him, so you leave no trace behind, like you don't even exist. Take the words for what they are, a dwindling mercurial high, a drug that only worked the first few hundred times. And that's the thing about illicit affairs and clandestine meetings and stolen stares. They show their truth one single time, but they lie and they lie and they lie a million little times. And you wanna scream, don't call me kid, don't call me baby. Look at this godforsaken mess that you made me. You showed me colors you know I can't see with anyone else. Don't call me kid, don't call me baby. Look at this idiotic fool that you made me. You taught me a secret language I can't speak with anyone else. And you know damn well, for you I would ruin myself a million little times.
Beautiful.
When I first heard the track that you sent me, I thought,
I have to write something that matches it. And pretty quickly I came upon the idea of fate, because sometimes I just, go into a rabbit hole of thinking of how things happen. And I kind of love the romantic idea that every step you're taking one step closer to where you're supposed to be, guided by this little like invisible string.
The red string
I remember
theory.
when I bought this little guitar that has a rubber bridge, which you have one now too, but it
Yeah,
has this like...
you got me one and sent it to me, and it was like, I couldn't believe opening up this like beautiful, isn't it 50s guitar?
It is from the late 50s, and
Wow.
it's been like renovated so that the bridge deadens the strings and it sounds really old, and it's just a really kind of writes songs for you in a way, because it's so fun to play. And that was the first one that I wrote with it, and then you wrote this incredible song that is all about fate, and that was another moment where I just felt there was this serendipity happening between us and crazy chemistry, as far as like you took exactly what I had written, and it was as though we wrote it together in a room or something.
I remembered I wrote it right after I sent an ex a baby gift. And I was just like, man, life is great. And I just remembered thinking like, this is a full signifier that life is great.
Green was the color of the grass where I used to read in Centennial Park. I used to think I would meet somebody there.
This is one that reminded me of her
Teal
old
was
singing
the
voice.
color of your shirt when you were 16 at the yogurt shop. You used to work out to make a little money. Time, curious time, gave me no compasses, gave me no signs. Were there clues I didn't see? And isn't it just so pretty to think all along there was some invisible string tying you to me? Bad was the blood of the song in the cab on your first trip to LA. You ate at my favorite spot for dinner. Bold was the waitress on our 3-year trip, getting lunch down by the lakes. She said I looked like an American singer. Time, mystical time, cutting me open.
I love the way she sings. Time.
Were there clues I didn't see? And isn't it just so pretty to think all along there was some invisible string tying you to me? String that pulled me out of all the wrong arms right into that dive bar. Something wrapped all up my past mistakes in barbed wire. Chains around my demons, wool to brave the seasons. One single thread of gold tied me to you. Cold was the steel of my axe to grind for the boys who broke my heart. Now I send their babies presents. Gold was the color of the leaves when I showed you around Centennial Park. Hell was the journey, but it brought me heaven. Time, wonder is time. Give me the blues and that purple pink skies. And it's cool, baby, with me. And isn't it just so pretty to think all along there was some invisible string tying you to me?
It's serendipity, baby. It's fate. I like to believe in that a little bit. Nice. Ooh, Mad Woman. One of my favorites off the album, especially with the lyrics and the meaning behind it.
Mad
Come on.
Woman, the first time I heard that piano thing you had written, I just felt like it's got these sort of ominous strings underneath it, and I was like, oh, this is female rage. Like, this is a song about female rage. It has to be. Like, I have to figure out how to make this about female rage. And then I was thinking, the most rage-provoking element of being a female is the gaslighting that happens when, you know, for centuries we've been just expected to absorb male behavior silently.
Boys will be boys.
Silent absorption of whatever any guy decides to do.
Constantly. Boys
And
will be boys. I hate that.
Oftentimes when we, in our enlightened state and our emboldened state now, respond to bad male behavior or somebody just doing something that was absolutely out of line, and we respond, that response is treated like the offense itself. You know, there's been situations with recently
Just
with
crazy,
somebody
right?
who's very guilty of this in my life, and it's a person who makes me feel or tries to make me feel like I'm the offender by having any kind of defense to his offenses. It's like, oh, I have absolutely no right to respond, or I'm crazy. I have no right to respond, or I'm angry. I have no right to respond, or I'm out of line.
It's messed up.
So you providing the musical bed for me to make that point that I've been trying so hard to figure out, how do I say that? How do I say why this feels so bad?
It's so messed up, and I really don't even have to expand upon it. I don't have to mansplain it myself, but it's so damn common, constant. Even the people, even the men that you think are great people, I guarantee you they're doing that same shit to them, where they, you know, they belittle the women, they don't let them talk, they do that. Like I said, the whole boys will be boys thing, where they just chalk up their behavior to it being accepted in society, when really a lot of it's usually comes back to being like double standards and stuff like that. And like you said, the response gets treated the same as the offense. That's insanity right there. That blows my mind when people do that, but it's so common, and I totally agree with what she's saying.
What did you think I'd say to that? Just a scorpion sting, then fighting back. They strike to kill, and you know I will. You know I will. What do you sing on your drive home? Do you see my face in the neighbor's lawn? Does she smile? Or does she mouth you forever? Every time you call me crazy, I get more crazy. What about that?
That is crazy in itself. Do people think that they can still say like you're crazy or you're a B, the B word, without thinking it's gonna evoke a negative response? What do you think is gonna happen?
And when you
Have
say
some
I
common
seem
sense too.
angry, I get more angry. And there's nothing like a man.
That's that gaslighting.
What a shame she went right. No one likes a mad woman. You made her like that. And you poke that bear till her claws come out, and you find something to wrap your noose around. And there's nothing like a man.
Start building their straw man, creating their problems to try to have like a gotcha moment.
Now I breathe flames each time I talk. My cannon's all firing at your yacht.
On
They
defense.
say, move on, but you know I won't. And women like hunting witches too, doing your dirtiest work for you. It's obvious that wanting me dead has really brought you two together. Every time you call me crazy.
It's true. That makes me think of like the Megyn Kellys of the world, the Candace Owens of the world. Or like she said, there's women that like to hunt witches too. I'm thinking that she's comparing, you know, witches as being like the mad women, because they would have been treated the same. I mean, they were burnt at the stake for doing things that they were doing. Yeah, Megyn Kelly, someone like that who was constantly being, diminished by the president now, the current president. I don't want to give that fucker the time of day. He's disgusting. But the way he talked about her, and now she is like a soldier for him, is a grimy, gross grifter as well. So yeah, there are women that do it too. I think that's what she's saying there. I might be way
Getting
off.
more crazy, what about that?
Those are called pick-me's,
When
though.
you say I seem angry, I get more angry. And there's nothing like a mad woman.
But there's something about them
Shame
too,
she
so
went mad.
I have empathy for them as well.
No one likes a mad woman. You made her like that. And you poke that bear till your claws come out. And you find something to wrap your noose around. And there's nothing like a mad woman. I'm taking my time, cause you took everything from me. Watching you climb over people like me. The master of spin has a couple side flings. Good wives always know. She should be mad, should be skating like me, but no one likes a mad woman. What a shame she went by.
It's so fucked up we even have to like address these things, that they're even
You made her like that.
actual tropes. Fuck toxic masculinity. Makes me sick. The whole red pill stuff, the fresh and fit people, the Myron Gaineses and Andrew Tates of the world can all fuck off. Seriously, they are destroying society. And they're trying to build more men like the men that Taylor's talking about. This whole red pill bullshit's been going on for the past 5 years. And you even have, there's even this chick called like Pearl Davis or something like that. She's talking about like, she tells people that women should not even have the power to vote, like crazy stuff like that. So that's when I think of her saying like, and there's even women that want to go after and burn witches, right? That's what I think. I think of like the Pearl Davises, think of the Megyn Kellys and the Candace Owens. And I do have empathy for them too, because what happened to them to get to them to that way? How are you not an ally with the rest of the women that are like getting ganged up on all the time? Like Candace, Megan, Pearl. Do you realize like once you're done like fighting their battles for them and you have nothing left to fight for them, that you're now going to be their next target because you're still a woman. You're still women. They still don't agree with you. They still think they're better than you just because they are a man. And I hate that that's a realization. I hate that's a thing. I hate that's an uncomfortable truth. But yeah, we got a lot more of it going on than ever right now with all this red pill bullshit. And we're kind of fighting back against it. Now we see a president got elected based off of it, based off of being disgusting, based off of being misogynistic and sexist. And they really bolstered up their crowd. Their messaging is much better than people like myself or like Taylor, who try to put out love, try to put out good, positive messages. That's not what sells. Hate sells, sex sells, negativity sells very rarely. So it is pretty amazing that an artist like Taylor, who does put out so much stuff like she does, it is amazing seeing her sell as much as she does and be, one of the most successful artists in history because of what I just said. But that just tells you that there are still good people out there. There's still a lot of good people out there fighting back against a good fight. And I like to think I'm one of them. I like to think I'm one of those people that are allies, and I try my best to fight up and stand up for y'all, because I hate that whole mad woman thing. The moment a woman starts getting aggressive or whatever, she gets labeled a bitch. And I said this before too, just like how when a man starts getting emotional, he gets labeled a bitch. So there's just these things we have to get over as a society, and we have to mature as a society and get better. But there's so many bad actors right now that are, monetizing hate speech and whatnot, that it's hard to fight back against it. But I'm right there with you on the front lines, Taylor. It's a beautiful song. And again, I love that you use your huge platform for
I
that.
think I
really felt like there should be a string moment on the album because we were towards the end of it and it was all very piano and acoustic.
I have to
And
make sure my
you're so
mic's
good
not
with string arrangements, and Bryce is, I mean, a genius.
Bryce
and I kind of
Dessner.
felt like there should be a moment where there's a song that was unlike anything I'd done before and could really kind of exercise that muscle that I know that you have. And I couldn't. When I heard it, I remember thinking maybe I want to tell a sports story because I had just watched The Last Dance. I was thinking all in
Taylor,
terms
okay.
of sports and winners and underdogs and things like that. But actually, what I had been doing really frequently up until that point was I had been doing a lot of research on my grandfather who fought in World War II at Guadalcanal, which was an extremely bloody battle. And he never talked about it, not with his sons, not with his wife. Nobody got to hear about what happened there. And so my
Imagine he
dad
lost a
had to
huge
do
piece of
lot
himself there.
research, and he and his brothers did a lot of digging and found out that my granddad was exposed to some of the worst situations you could ever imagine as a human being. And so I kind of tried
Can only imagine
what would happen in order to make you just never be able to speak about something. And then when I was thinking about that, I realized that there are people right now.
Before she says it, 'cause I think she's going there. I think Grandpa was protecting your peace, protecting your innocence. Seeing what he saw, that is evil at its highest. War, that's evil at the highest possible threshold it can be. That is pure evil. And I feel like your father was probably trying to protect his family, his wife, and maybe protect himself too, trying to forget about it.
Taking a 20-minute break in between shifts at a hospital, who are having this kind of trauma happen to them right now that they will probably never want to speak about, And so I just kind of thought, like, this is an opportunity to maybe tell that story.
Yeah.
The way you weave that together, where there's remembrance and bearing witness to your family's history, but then recognition of who the heroes are today, so moving. And I tried, the sense of harmony in that song is really different than other songs. And again, it was as though we did it in the same room and like worked out the chords and everything, and how you sing to it feels different than any other song. And it was another moment where it just felt like I was just thankful to be a musician, or like, this is why I play music.
I felt that way with this song
I love
too,
that.
where it was just like, how did this slot into place and come together? I often feel with this album, like there have been times in my life where things have fallen apart so methodically, and I couldn't control how things were going wrong, and nothing I did stopped it. And I felt like I had just been pushed out of a plane and was like scratching at the air on the way down, and like I felt like just like the universe is just doing its thing. It's just dismantling
Unfolding,
my
yeah.
life, and there's nothing I can do. And this is a weird situation where ever since I started making music with you, I felt like that was like the universe forcing things to fall into place perfectly, and there was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird
Fate.
things that makes you think about life a lot, where, this lockdown could have been a time where I absolutely lost my mind, and instead I think, this album was like a real flotation device for both of us.
She's so well spoken. Articulates her thoughts so well. Not surprised. I mean, look at her pen.
Keep your helmet, keep your life on, just a flesh wound, here's your rifle, crawling off the beaches now. So I think he's bleeding out, and some things you just can't speak about. With you I serve, with you I fall down, down. What you breathing, what you breathing out, out. Sun plastic now. Doc, I think she's crashing out. And some things you just can't speak about. Only 20 minutes to sleep, but you dream of some epiphany. Just one single glimpse of relief to make some sense of what you see.
It's so messed up what we put our first responders,
With you I fall
medical people through.
down. Watch you breathing, watch you breathing out. With you I serve, with you I fall down. Watch you breathing, watch you breathing out. Only 20 minutes to sleep, but you dream of some epiphany. Just one single glimpse of relief to make some sense of what you've seen. Make sense of what you've seen.
I touched on it during my album reaction, but shout out to first responders, healthcare workers, essential workers, everyone that was very, very, very much so important to keeping society going and keeping humans alive during the pandemic. I mentioned this before about how, for whatever reason, there is half the world, like, maybe not half, but a big portion of the world believing in things like those pandemic documentaries and just all this conspiratorial things. And we've lost so much faith in our leaders and in our institutions. It's really sad to see. It's sad to see people believing guys that couldn't even fail or couldn't even pass their ninth grade, biology class. And then they're like spouting weird things on Facebook and whatever else, as if they're some kind of like 10-year degree credentialed epidemiologist or something like that. It was an absolutely insane time. We're still in it. We're still dealing with a lot of misinformation and disinformation. But let me just tell you, as someone that really appreciate everything y'all did, I just want to say I love you. Thank you so much for helping and getting us through the time. I know y'all were stressed the hell out. I know about the great walkout and how we've lost so many great healthcare workers because just the stupidity and the lack of empathy during the time when we were dealing with a novel virus, something that was new and that we've never experienced before, and that we were dealing with changing information every day. And yet we have people, bad actors as usual, trying to, sow division or bring up some kind of bullshit to, take away credibility and whatnot. And you know what? You have to have some type of skepticism for things. Not every doctor is a genius. Not every scientist knows what they're talking about. Not every musician's a good musician. But damn, I'm sorry. More likely than not, I'm going to take the advice of somebody that's been going to school, studying, and devoting their life for like the past 10 to 15 years, 30 years on something, than I am going to listen to Jim from biology that couldn't pass the class. So sorry, that's my point. Not sorry. That's just my point on it. That's my rant on it. If you didn't hear it from the album reaction, that's just how I feel. And I think that's amazing that they wrote this song for them. So shout out to anybody that's working in that field or worked in that field. You're so appreciated.
One of my favorite things about this record is the fact that there's this trilogy of three, the trinity of Betty, August, and Cardigan are all like, we made August together, we made Cardigan together, we all three
It's perfect.
made Betty together. And Betty was, I just heard Joe singing the entire fully formed chorus of Betty from another room.
Yeah.
And I just was like, hello.
It feels like it's a little tense when she starts talking about Joe. I don't obviously again I don't know much about their history. I know they dated. I don't know if Aaron and Jack know him very well, or maybe they're just I don't know. Maybe it's a touchy
You're like,
subject,
"I
but
do
she
this
speaks about him so
professionally."
Hello.
I'd love
easily.
to have a conversation.
It was a step from another room.
Yeah.
And I just was like, hello.
You're like, I do this professionally.
Hello.
I'd love to have a conversation.
It was a step that we would never have taken because why would we have ever written a song together?
I thought you were doing a bit when you're like, Joe and I wrote a song, and then I was like, what? And I thought it was gonna be like, you know, like people write like cute songs about their animals in relationships. And then you're like, no, we wrote like a real song. And I was like, what? And then you sent it to me, I was like,
So this was the first time we had a conversation
Damn, Jack.
where I came in and I was like, hey, this could be really weird and we could hate this. So could we just, because we're in quarantine and there's nothing else going on, could we just try to see what it's like if we write this song together? So he was singing the chorus of it and I thought it sounded really good from a man's voice, from a masculine perspective.
So Joe's a singer?
And I really liked that it seemed to be an apology. And I've written so many songs from a female's perspective of wanting a male apology that we decided to make it from a teenage boy's perspective, apologizing after he loses the love of his life because he's been foolish.
allegedly.
No, he's been foolish.
No, according to the internet, we don't know what it's about.
He's been foolish.
No, I mean just.
We wrote it, I'm confirming he's
Well,
foolish.
I love it.
allegedly.
No, he's been foolish.
No, according to the internet, we don't know what it's about.
He's been
Stand on it, Taylor. Stand on it. It's your pen.
foolish.
No, I mean just.
We wrote it, I'm confirming he's
Well, I
foolish.
don't know who blamed
He was a
Bauer.
fool.
is, so
Jack's
we don't-
obviously being
fool.
tongue in cheek about y'all. Swifties. Y'all are like detectives. It's
Betty,
amazing.
I won't make assumptions about why you switched your homeroom, but I think it's 'cause of me.
Of course you do.
Betty, one time I was riding on my skateboard when I passed your house. It's like I couldn't breathe. You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. The worst thing that I ever did was what I did to you. But if I just showed up at your party, would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go myself? Lead me to the garden. In the garden, would you trust me if I told you it was just a summer thing? I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you.
Damn, James.
Betty, I know where it all went wrong. Your favorite song was playing from the far side of the gym. I was nowhere to be found. I hate the crowds, you know that. Plus, I saw you dance with him.
It's funny how now that I know what this is about, I can just picture
You
something.
heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true.
It's a whole different experience watching this movie.
The worst thing that I ever did
Y'all are right.
was what I did to you. But if I just showed up at your party, would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go myself or lead me to the garden? In the garden, would you trust me if I told you it was just a summer thing? I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. walking home on broken cobblestones, just thinking of you. And she pulled up like a figment of my worst intentions. She said, James, get in, let's drive. Those days turned into nights. Slept next to her, but I dreamt of you all summer long.
That guitar lick, I love it.
Betty, I'm here on your doorstep, and I planned it out for weeks now, but it's finally sinking in. Betty, right now is the last time I can dream about what happens when you see my face again. The only thing I wanna do is make it up to you. So I showed up at your party. Yeah, I showed up at your party. Yeah, I showed up at your party. Will you have me? Will you love me? Will you kiss me on the porch in front of all your stupid friends? If you kiss me, will it be just like I dreamed it? Will it pat your broken wings? I'm only 17, I don't know anything but
It's almost like a backhanded apology, though, isn't it? Talking about her stupid friends, saying, "Oh, I'm only 17, so don't be too hard on me." Like a little bit of a gaslighting
I
there.
know I miss you. Standing in your cardigan, kissing in my car again.
Perfectly brought back around.
You know I miss you.
I just know that pen was on fire writing this album.
With
Ooh,
the song Peace,
Peace.
when you sent me this instrumental, the first word that I thought of was this is what peace sounds like. It's got this, this amazing bass line that just made me feel like this is serenity, this is peace. And then I was thinking, maybe you just start with the obvious and think about how that could be told in an interesting way that kind of goes against the title. Like, I could never give you peace over the most peaceful sounding instrumental track.
Yeah, that's why I sent it to you, because you kind of said, like, send me everything, including like the most off the wall idea you have, and then you were able to write a song which not only does it like have such a beautiful, it's such a beautiful love song and recognition that of the kind of like
I love this song.
insecurity in any relationship, that like, will this actually, will I be able to give you peace? Will you be at rest with me, even though, whatever comes? But you also trace the bridge. When I heard the bridge, and that you traced all the weird timing and weird chord changes, it just felt like, okay, we can do anything. We might be able to do anything or something. Like this is it pushed the collaboration forward at that moment, where I was like, okay, so this is a weird race. Let's just.
Yeah, I think this is a song that's like extremely, extremely personal to me, because there are times when I feel like with everything that's in my control, I can make myself seem like someone who doesn't have an abnormal life. And I try that every day. Every day, it's like, how do I make myself, among my friends and family and my loved ones, not see this big elephant that's in the room for our normal life?
I can only imagine. And I've been saying that a lot because, man, there's just so much that isn't really relatable because of who she is. She is the elephant in the room. She is one of the biggest artists of all time. What was that? What would that be like? Just going, like, we take for granted just the ability to go to the grocery store in peace, talk to anybody you want to talk to in peace, just doing normal things in peace. Even with her own family, she has to actively try to maybe water herself down or something to make it so that she's not the elephant in the room, is what I'm getting.
Because I don't want the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Right.
if
Right.
you're going to be in my life, I feel
Nobody
like there's a
does.
certain amount that comes with it that I can't stop from happening. I can't stop from you getting a call in the morning that says, you know, the tabloids are writing this today. I can't help it if there's a guy with a long lens camera 2 miles away with a telescope lens taking pictures of
It's
you.
insane.
I can't stop those things from happening. And so this song was basically like, is it enough? Is the stuff that I can control enough to sort of block out the things that I can't? So it makes me really emotional to hear this song and to know that a lot of people related to it who aren't talking about the same things that I'm talking about.
That would just feel so insane, constantly just feeling like there's eyeballs on you, like you're underneath this magnifying glass at all times. Now, we've talked this before too. She's chosen that life. We all choose our lives in the paths that we go down, and you know, she chose to become a big celebrity, a big star, and that's what she went after. But man, still, like you can't help but feel empathy for them for those things. Like she can't be on a beach, she can't be at a mall, she can't. Yeah, even just hang out with her friends and family without it being like she's Taylor Swift. She is one of the most popular humans that will ever exist.
They're talking about human complexity.
Yeah, I love that about the record in general and this song specifically, because to me it's about, I have in my life suffered from depression, and I'm a hard person to be in a relationship with or be married to because I go up and down, and I can't help it. It's like a chemical thing that happens sometimes, and music is a way of dealing with that for me. And just somehow that the song captures the fragility of what that's like to be in a relationship with someone who may or may not have peace, or may, you know, but that's again
And
my
someone
interpretation.
who you would want to provide with peace.
Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing
You know,
that,
someone
Aaron.
that you love, so you want it to be, you want them to have as much peace in their life as possible, and reconciling the fact that you might not be their best option for that, but is it still a deal they want to take?
Yeah.
This might be my favorite song on the album. Things are changing, and now things are meaning more as I'm watching this too. So, but no, this right here, I could feel her on this.
A coming of age is come and gone. Suddenly this summer it's clear. I never had the courage of my convictions, as long as danger is near. And it's just around the corner, darling, 'cause it lives in me. No, I could never give you peace. I'm a fire and I'll keep your brittle heart warm. If your cascade ocean wave blues come, all these people think love's for show, but I would die for you in secret. The devil's in the details, but you got a friend in me. Would it be enough if I can never give you peace? Your integrity makes me seem small. You paint dreamscapes on the wall. I talk shit with my friends. It's like I'm wasting your honor.
God, that's messed up.
And you know that I swing with you for the fences, sit with you in the trenches.
This film is heavy.
Give you my while, give you a trial, give you the silence that only comes when two people understand each other. Family that I chose never to see your brother as my brother. Is it enough? 'Cause there's robbers to the east, clowns to the west. I'd give you my sunshine, give you my best, but the rain is always gonna come if you're standing with me.
It's inescapable.
But I'm a fire and I'll keep your brittle heart warm. If your cascade ocean wave blues come, all these people think love's for show, but I would die for you in secret. The devil's in the details, but you got a friend in me. I can never give you peace? Would it be enough if I can never give you peace? Would it be enough if I can never give you peace?
Yeah. That one makes me very empathetic towards her and to celebrities in general. I mean, I know they choose the path. I know they choose that life, but still, we shouldn't be treating them like that. They're entertainers, yes, but they're also human beings. And yeah, with like she said, with that telescope photo lens, taking pictures of her from 2 miles away where she can't just enjoy a time with a boyfriend or a family member or herself. It sucks, and she thinks that she's never gonna be able to bring someone peace, and it makes me happy that she's happy right now with Travis Kelce, and he's someone that has gone through the fame and the fire, and he understands somewhat of what it is that she goes through. So I feel like he maybe is perfect for that, where he probably has empathy for it, and he can handle it. He's big enough of a person, smart enough of a person to be able to handle it, and that he knows that it's not something that she can control. She can't control that there's someone out there on the ocean on a boat miles away with a camera taking pictures of you. She can't help that there's going to be people peddling smut in the tabloids. That's how they make their money. It's disgusting, but that's nothing to do with her. But it's wild to me that anyone would ever try to put that on her. But that's just the way things go, and it just makes me so empathetic and so emotional towards her and other people like this that have to go through that. That can't just be human. Hoax.
Okay, the word hoax is another word that I love because I love that it has an X, and I love the way that it looks, and I love the way
I do
it
like
sounds.
X's as well.
I think with this song being the last song on the album, it kind of embodied all the things that this album was thematically, like confessions, incorporating nature, emotional volatility and ambiguity at the same time, sort of love that isn't just easy. And it's the most kind of symbolic, poetic thing, listing all these things that this person is to you. And I remembered I asked you for advice on this one.
You did. I think you didn't. I think, like, to you, it meant different things, and that was a moment of like doubt or something.
And I think I said, what if not all of these feelings are about the same person? What if I'm writing about several different, very fractured situations, like, you know, one is about love and one is about a business thing that really hurt, and one is about a sort of relationship that I consider to be family, but that really hurt. And
yeah, and I remember, and this was
You
one of the
referenced
moments,
Matt.
when Matt, The National and Matt Berninger, often songs are about more than one thing or many sides of a coin, and I just love that. I kind of thought this feels different, and it also feels
Open to
I
interpretation.
kind of like the fact that you weren't totally sure.
I
That's
definitely
what
had the
made me-
moment of doubt. I had the moment of like, I don't usually do this. I usually know exactly what I'm writing about. And I was really happy when you kind of pushed me forward, like, nope, do the thing that makes you uncomfortable, because I think that's what makes it a song that really, to me, stands out. That line about, it still hurts underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart. Like, anyone in my
What you
life
do
knows
is just as dark.
what I'm singing about there, but everybody has that situation in their life where it's like, you let someone in and they get to know you and they know exactly what buttons to push to hurt you the most.
Yeah.
That thing where the scar healed over, but it's still painful. They still have phantom pain.
Yeah.
I think the part that sounds like love to me is, don't want no other shade of blue but you, no other sadness in the world would do.
Yeah.
It sounds like, to me, that sounds like what love really is. Like, who would you be sad with? And who would you deal with when they were sad?
I'm glad I picked up on that during the album reaction. I feel the same way. Like, who can you love, flaws and all?
And like, gray skies every day for months, would you still stay?
Yeah.
My only one, my smoking gun, my eclipsed sun, this has broken me down. My twisted knife, my sleepless night, my windless fight. This has frozen my ground. Stood on the cliffside screaming, give me a reason. Your faithless love's the only hoax I believe in. Don't want no other shade of blue but you. No other sadness in the world would do. My best laid plan, your sleight of hand, my barren land. I am ash from your fire. Stood on the cliffside screaming, give me a reason. Your faithless love's the only hoax I believe in. Don't want no other shade of blue but you. No other sadness in the world would do. You know I left a part of me back in New York. You know the hero died, so what's the movie for? You know it still hurts underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart. You knew the password, so I let you in the door. You knew you won, so what's the point of keeping score? You know it still hurts underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart. But what you did was just a start. Darling, this was just as hard as when they pulled me apart. My only one, my kingdom come undone, my broken drum. You have beaten my heart. Don't want no other shade of blue but you. No other sadness in the world would do.
I agree so much with what she's saying there too, though, because it really is so easy to love somebody when it's just the easy parts of them to love, right? The good things. But can you love them through the bad things? That to me is the testament of love, and that's what will show you what will stand the test of time. Is like she said, if someone's going through 7 months of trouble, of hard times, are you still going to be able to love them? Are you still going to be able to go through the ebbs and flows of life with them? Because life is just not this perfect fairy tale that goes straight up in a straight line, whatever it is. Bumpy, it's rocky, it's all over the place. So are you going to be there for them? Are you going to be a real one and stand in their corner? Or are you going to decide that that's not something you can love about them? Like, for me, the flaws mean just as much as the good spots. Oh, cool. They are doing the bonus track. I wasn't sure if they were or not.
I think the lake
because-
sort of sounds like a testament of what I wanted to escape from and where I saw myself escaping. We'd gone to the Lake District in England a couple years ago.
What
trip.
is the Lake District?
It's in England, and it's, you know, in the 19th century, you had a lot of poets like William Wordsworth and John Keats would spend a lot of time there, and
Imagine
there was
being
a
a poet with
poet
that name,
district. These
Wordsworth.
artists that moved there, and they were kind of heckled for it and made fun of for it as being these eccentrics and these kind of odd artists who decided that they just wanted to live there. And I remembered when we went, I thought, man, I could see this. You know, you you live in a cottage and you've got wisteria growing up the outside of it, and you just, of course they escaped like that. Of course they would do that. And they had their own community of other artists who had done the same thing. And, and then I've always, in my career, since I was probably about 20, written about this sort of cottage backup plan that I had.
I could be wrong, but I mean, isn't that similar to like if you would think like Wall Street? Those guys all live somewhat similar around there. I would imagine Hell's Kitchen. I don't know. I'm thinking that that's just something that's normal in time where people just set up certain little bubbles of society or employment or art or whatever it may be, and that's just a community you kind of live in. That's strange that they're treated pretty poorly for doing that.
You've been writing about that forever.
I've been writing about that forever.
You've been writing about getting out forever.
Yeah, so The Lakes is really talking a lot about relating to people who hundreds of years ago had the same exit plan and did it. And they went and did it. I went to William Wordsworth's grave and just sat there and I was like, wow, you went and did it.
Yeah.
You just did it. You just went away and you kept writing, but you didn't subscribe to the things that were killing you.
Yeah, you left those things behind in a real way.
And that's really the overarching thing that I felt when I was writing folklore is I may not be able to go to the lakes right now or to go anywhere, but I'm going there in my head, and this escape plan is working.
That to me is the hope in this body of work, is that it's not, I can't do this, I'm out. It's, I've found something worth escaping with.
And a person to escape with.
And to me, that's a huge, sincere statement of hope that like everything I'm naming is completely small compared to this love.
Yeah, it's the perfect, I thought it would be the perfect way to slot the last puzzle piece in right when people least expected it.
Yeah.
Because Hoax as the ending song for the record, I thought was interesting for a couple weeks, but then I wanted to actually come in with the real last song of the record, which is this song that, The Lakes, which shows you exactly what, it kind of is the overarching theme of the whole album, of trying to escape, having something you want to protect, trying to protect your own sanity, and saying, look, they did this hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not the first person who's felt this way. They did this.
Oh, it's a really potent statement right now. I think the idea of getting away and figuring out how to remove the things that are not working in one's life is the story of this time.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking about that, I don't know what you're thinking about.
For sure, Jack.
Is it romantic how all my elegies eulogize me? I'm not cut out for all these cynical clones, these hunters with cell phones. Take me to the lakes where all the poets went to die. I don't belong, and my beloved, neither do you.
Makes so much more sense now too. Wow.
Those Windermere peaks look like a perfect place to cry. I'm setting up, but not without my muse. What should be over, burrowed under my skin, in heart-stopping waves of hurt. I've come too far to watch some name-dropping slaves tell me what are my words worth. Take me to the lakes where all the poets went to die. I don't belong, and my beloved, neither do you. Those Windermere peaks look like a perfect place to cry. I'm setting up, but not without my muse. I want auroras and sad prose. I want to watch wisteria grow right over my bare feet, 'cause I haven't moved in years. And I want you right here. A red rose grew up out of ice-frozen ground, with no one around to tweet it, while I bathe in cliffside
Love that.
views with my calamitous love and insurmountable grief. Take me to the lakes where all the poets went to die. I don't belong, my beloved, neither do you. Those Windermere peaks look like a perfect place to cry. I'm set in awe, but not without my muse. No, not without you. No, not without you.
Wow. Beautiful.
That ought to do it.
They really just performed a whole damn album, broke it down for us in this beautiful film. Her voice sounded incredible the entire time. So clear, so
Whiskey?
beautiful.
This way?
I'm saying beautiful too much, but it really was. Time for whiskey, they say. Celebrate, baby. This was a really, 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 really good experience.
So the record was recorded here, my studio, and your house.
Yes.
Did you give it a name?
Yes. I think it's called Kitty Committee Studios on the album.
Of course.
It does, because I've got cats fighting in the background.
There was a
On
big
the
cat
bed.
vibe. Yeah, and then like
Oh my god, that's adorable. Look at them fluff balls.
cats were the only people,
The
things,
cats-
were, like
the
Laura
cats
kept
were
getting
going
cats.
in and out because if I were to close the door on them, they'd meow.
Yeah.
So they need to be able to be free range.
Know that,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, cage free.
Meow, meow.
Guys, stop it. Stop. Stop. Benjamin always starts it and Olivia always finishes it.
Why is that always so funny to me? Just seeing cute little fur balls fighting each other. My dogs used to do the same. My cats used to do the same. Just so silly.
He's twice her size, but she's an amazing fighter. Look at her.
It's Benjamin and Olivia that have lots of, I call them the marshmallow wars. No one's gonna get hurt, but there's a lot of this.
It was bizarre.
It really was bizarre, but it was
marshmallow
at the same time my favorite recording experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a very cool way to have made an album.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow, guys. I am blown away. That was a really good experience, very cathartic. It felt like every time she was talking, I felt the tears coming. Let me just say one more time, I'm sorry for the microphone muting. I'm pretty sure most of the stuff I was talking about then, I probably talked about during the album reaction, but I will go in during post and I'll make sure to edit it. I'll probably like speed it up or something. That way you can still see the movie, but obviously you're not going to hear me talking about it. So that's my fault. I love to make these as unedited, uncut reactions. That way you can see how real it is. You can see my real, true reaction to it. So I don't like to make edits. If I have to, then I will. So just so you know, I most likely was probably talking about something that I already mentioned from the album reaction anyway. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. It is on the channel. This is beautiful. This is really awesome to see the process, see what looked like friends, honestly, talking about their creative process and breaking down the words and the meaning and how they felt and how all three of them had like different meanings and perspectives for each song too. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was cool. And then it was cool finding out that William Bowery is actually Joe Alwyn, so now I know that. It was nice to have the trilogy broken down for me, so now when I watched it and I hear her singing it, it makes so much more sense to me. Man, it was a lot of fun and hard doing the folklore reaction and trying to break down and detect all the lores and the hidden clues and stuff like that and what's going on and doing it that way. And that's how it's gonna happen that way because of the way I'm doing these. I'm going into Evermore next, right? And then I think Lover, and then we're going back finally to the beginning. So it's been tough, like trying to break down her life and what she's singing about when I don't know the lore still. This definitely helped with that. Just seeing the human side of Taylor and hearing her talk about everything. She's very intelligent. It seems like those wheels, those gears are just going constantly. She's thinking about everything. A very deep thinker, very in tune with herself and in touch with society in general. Like talking about singing songs about people that are going from a time in their life where they have everything set up for them, like classes and college courses, and like her thinking about like what they do next. It's not just everything about her life. It's not all autobiographical, but it's about things that are very relatable in life. And that's why I keep getting emotional to her songs and to this movie, is because her words are very relatable, and they're so visual and just there. Like they smack you in the face. They're so personal and vulnerable that they make you take them in just that much harder. And it makes me very emotional as you see me well up almost at every song and tears coming down for some of them. She's just incredible. And I'm really enjoying this journey. I'm really enjoying everybody telling me in the comments about certain things. Like that is a really fun part of this, is reacting to the stuff, having my own interpretations, my own perspective on songs, and then reading what they actually mean from you guys, or even just your guys' perspective and what you think that a certain lyric may have meant that it doesn't have an actual meaning to it yet. That's my favorite part to this. It's so fun talking to you guys, and how amazing it is that you can take in all this stuff and break it all down so well, and just how much love you guys have for Taylor. It's admirable. It's really cool to see. But this movie was awesome. I'm definitely gonna be doing more of these. It was real cool to just see the process. Jack is a genius. Aaron seems to be a genius and seems to be very emotionally mature and in touch with himself as well. So to write so many songs that do deal with men and the toxic masculinity, and have those two right alongside her and helping her try to get the message out that she wants to get out, I think is also very, 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 very nice to see. We need more of that. We need more of just like discussions and talking things out and having these hard discussions like it looks like they seem to have done for this album. It's a really beautiful piece of work, piece of art. I've been listening to it quite a bit since my album reaction, and like my favorite songs keep changing here and there. Like Seven and Peace are like two of my favorites, I think. But then you don't know, it might be Cardigan the next day, because that one just hit me today like a ton of bricks now that I know exactly what it is. So yeah, it was like having it was like a little educational thing for me, seeing the way all this was done and just getting another look under the curtain of what her life is like, and Jack and Aaron and Bon Iver and whoever else. This was awesome. I hope you all had a really good time with me today. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Please remember that life is long. It's a marathon. It's full of ups and downs. It's not just this straight upwards path. You're gonna fall into pits. You're gonna experience highs. But just remember that as long as you're around and you keep going, you keep living, and you keep trying to be a better person every day, that life is gonna be great. And you're gonna make yourself into a fantastic human being. But that's my message. Slow down a little bit this weekend if you can. Enjoy life, and just take a deep breath and just be present. But I love y'all. Thank you so much for supporting and watching with me. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.